Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Disney Pixar's Elemental. Remember that movie? A lot of people aren't talking about it.
Yeah, like they released it to all this fanfare. They were going to be doing this movie. They announced it. And then like now you're just now starting to see a commercial here and there, but they aren't really talking about it. And it's out soon.
It comes out, I think, next weekend. Is it next
weekend already?
Yeah, I think it's next weekend because it goes up against The Flash. And I know this one, they dropped it at the Cannes Film Festival, like the very last day when a lot of the critics went home. And this is probably why, because the top critic score is only 50%.
Now, Grant, there's only 28 reviews so far.
Yeah, because
it's 71% all critics.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, it's not great for a Pixar movie. Yeah. I mean, we're talking below The Good Dinosaur, I think, at this point.
Yeah, they don't think that the box office predictions are very, very good.
No, they're saying somewhere around 30 to 40 if they're lucky. I don't know how it's going to go because not only did they have The Flash next weekend, which isn't going to do as well as people thought it was going to do, but they've also got Spider-Man still out, Transformers is still out. You know, so
Transformers just came out.
And Transformers just came out and I guess is doing better than people thought it was going to do. So I don't think they have much of a chance here with Elemental. But we're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about the backlash to the recent clip.
Well, yeah, this is what we're gonna talk about. They're trying to set up this whole racism allegory is what they're trying to set up with this movie because they haven't done that before with like Zootopia and everything else. I just find it funny. The same company who's like racist didn't come see our movie are trying to push a narrative about racism down people's throats.
Yeah, so let's talk about this and some of the backlash. I don't think this one's going to do well. I really don't. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Thank you very much for that. So yeah, the clip that was released, and I am hesitant to play the whole thing because I know how copyright hungry Disney can be. But apparently there's a dirt kid, an earth kid, trying to woo the fire girl from the movie. And she's basically like, hey, yeah, I'm fire. We can't date.
Yeah, elements can't mix.
Elements can't mix, guys. And people took a lot of issue with that because they're right out of the gate. They're being like, oh, okay, so it's racism, but it's really awkward racism.
But yeah, it's funny too, though, because Squeaky had mentioned this to me the other day, and he was pointing it out, and he was saying, a couple things like this in Zootopia is the whole idea of like with the racism is an idea like, people are against somebody because of their different skin color. But in this way, they're talking like they're trying to equate racism to something that you physically cannot be together because of, different reasons. And that's not the same thing.
Yeah, that would be like, people of different races, different skin tones, ethnicities are physically incompatible with one another. But they do it on Star Trek all the time. Like the aliens get it on Star Trek all the time. Apparently, everybody's got the same parts throughout the galaxy, and it just works. It just works that way. In this case, you get your dinky burn off.
Well, interestingly enough, too, all the other elements can be together except for fire people.
Yeah, because they're destructive by nature.
Well, yeah.
So that's problematic, isn't it? They're destructive. They destroy things.
So that no one else can get near them because they can't be around them because it would light them on fire or whatever.
She's got herpes.
That's why she's on fire.
She's on anyway, it just burns the burning gonorrhea. You don't want any of that, kid. You don't want any of that.
Right.
Keep your rocks away from her.
That's right. Elements don't mix. So, you can't mix. I just love it. Racism is why no one came to The Little Mermaid. All these other countries are racist. Let's make a movie about racism. People are going to be hot damn. They're going to be pouring into the theater for that one because everybody just loves being preached at for entertainment constantly.
So is race is more important than him obviously being a kid when it comes to rejecting him?
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Why does Pixar always make sexualized characters? This is a kid movie. Oh my God.
Well, if you go to the other, like some of the other tweets, I thought was interesting. Like they were talking about like an allegory about racism should demonstrate racism's arbitrary nature, not imply that there are inherent immutable reasons for people of certain kinds not mixing.
Yeah, so that's kind of what people are like. If you're going to use this for an allegory for racism, you're basically saying fire people bad, fire people burn other people because raging gonorrhea. That's not what. That's an allegory, right?
That's not the allegory we're trying to make.
It's an allegory for STDs, painful STDs. People saying, hey, they did the same thing with Zootopia, right down to the shadowy, weak elites controlling the dangerous races for their own schemes. Zootopia all over again. Similar thing happened with Zootopia. Yeah, because
exactly.
Zootopia was the predators were inherently bad. Nobody trusted them because in the past they did bad things. So I was trying to figure out like which race are the predators a stand-in for again, because it's like, because the thing is actually both sides in Zootopia, the predators and the prey, they both look awful. When you think about it, because you've got the spoiler, the movie's been out for freaking ever, but spoiler, you've got the sheep manipulating the situation to turn people against the predators.
Well, to turn people against each other.
And turn people against each other.
And be afraid of each other to control people.
Yeah, so people are like, oh, the predators, that must be a stand-in for colonists or something. It's like, well,
so kind of like that, if you constantly have Hollywood and the media turning people against each other and trying to make istophobic issues where there weren't any before just because they're saying there are, so that you're fighting each other, it's easier to control you, and it's easier to say, our movie isn't shit, you're just shitty people. Same thing. So it's an allegory for the bullshit of Disney.
It's an allegory for the bullshit of Disney. Actually, why can't we do this? Is funny. I like this right here. This one fundamentally fails based on premise. Fire burns earth, water puts out water, just like how with Zootopia, predators being once violent.
Water puts out fire, but whatever.
Yeah, water. Yeah, it just makes more water. It makes things wetter. Moist makes more moist. Anyway, I'm sitting there thinking like, why can't we just get like a Battle Beasts movie? Remember Battle Beasts?
Big.
They were the little Transformer knockout. They were animals with battle armor, and then they had the little rub signs, and they had different elementals, and that's how you played the game. It was basically like a game. You'd be like, oh, I got my fire sign beast is gonna take down your tree beast or whatever. That's how that worked.
I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on rub signs, and then you talk about wet water makes things more moist. I'm just. You
rub it until it's
what
moist.
Element it is, and if it's water, hot damn, you're in luck.
Right.
Anyway, no, but I'm just like this. No one really cares about this movie, and they're not doing themselves any favors with this.
I don't care how cool your concept is. If your racists have a point and your racism is bad allegory, it's going in the shredder. Yeah, pretty much. Like it's like, and that's the same with Zootopia too. It was like everybody's racist against the predators, but like. They had a point because the predators are, this is like, what the hell?
I don't know. It's stupid. And I mean, I saw a trailer for it the other day. They had a trailer a couple of days ago. And the voice acting is not good. Like, he was talking about, I loved you since the first time I saw you, Ember. But that's more inflection. It's very monotone. I don't know. Does water mean you have no personality? I don't know. It's also supposed to be about socioeconomic because she's an immigrant from a working family and he's a rich water boy.
A rich water boy. I'm thinking Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
It's some H2O. Yeah, so look, people aren't having it. And this is animation Twitter. This is cartoon Twitter. Cartoon Twitter isn't having it. They're like, this looks bad. And this is the audience that Pixar has been pandering to lately. And they're like, this just does not look good.
Well, it was funny because if you go back to that review I sent you, if you read through it, though, it's interesting. This person went and saw it. Okay. So there might be some spoilers here. I'm not sure. Just
spoilers.
Warning. So he said, elements around the world pursue a new life in Element City, seeking greater opportunities for the future, but they aren't all treated equally. Ember Lumen. Oh, wow. What a ball of fire working in her father's shop, which he hopes to one day pass down to her when she's ready. However, her temper and anxiety hold her back from taking on the responsibility of the business he built with his own two hands. Hey, I just embraced my temper and anxiety, and here we are. She meets a sensitive waterman named Wade Ripple.
I thought it was Wade Nipple.
So how hard they had to think about these names, with whom she quickly begins to develop a romantic spark. However, society doesn't believe that the elements mix. So, oh my God, if they'd make them steam, I'm going to flip them. As the pair set off on an adventure that will change their lives forever and send ripples through Element City that will rock its very foundation. It's a romantic tale at its core, but it's coated with an on-the-nose social commentary that doesn't have the nuance of Pixar's punchier films. Ember's parents moved to Element City to provide a better future for their family, leaving with only the traditional blue flame from home, which is probably going to play into it.
Calcifer?
No, Calcifer's more yellow. Well, no, he's blue and he's wet.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Ember only knows Element City, but she inherited both her father's greatest fears and dreams, for better, for worse. Blah, 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 blah. Water and fire citizens are at odds, holding dangerous assumptions about one another. Elemental digs its teeth into racism and microaggressions. In a Romeo and Juliet adjacent love story that this world's social norms reject with the statement, elements don't mix. As soon as you say the movie's about racism and microaggressions, I don't fucking care. Like, I mean, you lost me. I mean, you lost me before because it looked boring as hell.
Yeah.
But when you said, "Oh, it's all about microaggressions and racism," I'm like, I don't want to pay to sit in the theater to be told about microaggressions and racism.
So this one is being hung out to dry. I think like Strange World, I think Disney knows it's going to flop, and they've set the precedent. They've done it to themselves. They're basically like, hey, Pixar movies are for Disney Plus now, you know, and you've gotten better critically reviewed Pixar movies for free. Not free, you have to pay for Disney Plus, but I'm saying included with your Disney Plus subscription, you've gotten Soul and you've gotten Turning Red and Luca, and now they're like, oh, this one though you got to pay for. Mm-hmm. People are gonna be like, but that's like the shittiest of the bunch. Why?
It doesn't sound good because basically like it's not done as well as other. It doesn't have the nuance. Like Pixar movies oftentimes have a message, but they're at least nuanced. And this one's just straight up in your face, microaggressions. Who wants to go see a movie about microaggressions? Raise your hand. Now slap yourself.
All of Portland raises its hand. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I love some people from Portland. I do.
And this sucks because it might have been a good story. I mean, I find it, kind of, relatable in the fact that I have a temper and anxiety, and I'm a fire sign, and Neon is a water sign. And
I'm damp and moist.
That's right.
Sometimes all at once.
We always joke that if you've listened to other videos, it's like you put us together and you get steam. That's why when we saw this, we're like, oh my God, help me if they turn to steam at the end. So, representation somewhat, but you have more personality than
I
he
do.
does.
I hope I do. I don't know.
I mean, you did know you were going to marry me the first time you saw me, though.
I did.
So
I saw steam.
That's right.
I felt steam. I felt something stirring inside.
It's like, she's like the sun. I got to touch it.
I got to touch her. Even if it burns me, I got to touch her. Anyway, God, no, okay. There's jokes. I'm not going to make jokes. But yeah, this isn't going very well, guys. I don't think this movie's going to do well. I don't think it's going to be remembered for long. I do not see them building an elemental land in any Disney park anytime soon. I think what they're trying to do with some of these movies is basically just flush them. Use that water to flush it. Because same with Strange World. I think they're just like, yeah, we had this stuff greenlit. It takes years to make these movies. If we had to do over again, we wouldn't do it. That was like the video I did yesterday, talking about the director of the Haunted Mansion, who's doing a GoFundMe now. Did you know about that? He's doing a GoFundMe.
Yeah, you were telling me.
To keep the lights on, because basically deals are getting pulled left and right in Hollywood right now. And I think a lot of these studios have buyer's remorse. So they're just like, okay, what can we do? Dump the content off the platform. We can take a write down. Dump this into a theater. We can take a write down. Say, hey, at least we tried, but it didn't do good. And then we'll just make Toy Story 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm just sitting
here like, how can we sell Elemental to people? How can we get more people on board this movie that looks boring and looks like crap and no one cares? I know. Let's tell them it's an allegory for racism and microaggressions. That'll bring them in.
Yeah. This looks like lots of fun, guys. You are like 5 years too late to this microaggression party. And even then, I think parents would have been like, what? Like what? I mean, Zootopia is at least somewhat tactful.
I just think it's funny that they're yelling about racism about Little Mermaid right and left. Let's do a movie, then release a movie about racism. And if you don't go see it, you're probably racist too.
You're racist if you think the fire people. So what you're saying is, if the fire people are the minority, and they're the immigrants, and they're the minorities, they're inherently bad because anything they touch burns. That's not a good message.
Well, that's not the messages, but they find a way to coexist with everyone if everybody lets them. That's part of the message.
Yeah, but their very nature is to burn shit. That's
not exactly. That's what everybody's pointing out. They're
that's
like,
not a good.
That's not the allegory. That's not what you should use to make this allegory. There are better ways to get the same message across that make more sense. Is what they're trying to say.
Yeah. Anyway, and those movies have already been done. We don't need another one like this. It's not going to do well. We're going to wrap this up.
Mm-hmm. I would have rather had an Elemental movie that was like a play on Sherlock Holmes or something.
Sherlock Holmes. Elemental. My dear Watson.
They should have made an Elemental movie that was a play on Sherlock Holmes.
That would have been kind of
fun. That would have been much more fun.
Like a mystery, but like everybody's got like different elements. So it's like Avatar meets Sherlock.
Doesn't have the element. Well, they could have done it with the elements. It didn't have to. But I'm saying if they had the name Elemental, they could have done so many different things with it. That with Sherlock Holmes, it would have been much more interesting. Or like you said, they could have made it with the elements, and that would have been double pun, and it would have been maybe more fun than a racist allegory, Romeo and Juliet. Do they both die in the end? Is that and everybody realizes that they should get along because they're dead?
I don't know. I don't know how it ends. I'm like, do they turn to steam and then they turn into rain and then they make everything else grow? Oh God, that's probably the ending. I probably just guessed the ending.
I have no
That's
fucking
depressing
idea.
as hell. Anyway, we're gonna wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye. Sorry, I yelled loudly.
That's okay. I got the limiter on.
Okay. So
You can tell like
setting.
Yeah, you can
Wait,
tell.
really? It automatically limits it when I yell?
It does. When the pitch gets too high, it does. Sometimes if you sound like all robotic, it's because it's bringing the decibels down.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Help support the channel. Go to thereef.support and get early access to podcasts, videos, and other content. That's thereef.support.